Bhavanam Kevalam 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 Bhavanam 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 Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Kevalam.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to each and everyone. So today, the Group 1 shall report our case analysis of the given topic, which is, where did the first Catholic Mass take place in the Philippines? History has been a way to unlock the past. We are able to know where and when a certain event happened through understanding historiographical evidences. So knowing the exact place where the first Catholic Mass took place is hard, especially nowadays, in which the evidence might have completely vanished already as the time went by. However, there are two suspected places on where really did the first Catholic Mass took place. The first place is Butuan and the second place is Limasawa. Nevertheless, this issue was already solved by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines.
So now let's talk about why did the first Catholic Mass take place in the Philippines in Butuan, and if this is really the place where the first Catholic Mass was held. It must be noted that there are only two primary sources that historians refer to in identifying the site of where the first Mass was held. One of the two primary sources is the log kept by Francisco Albo, a pilot of one of Magellan's ship, which was the Trinidad, and was one of the 18 survivors who returned with Sebastian Elcano on the ship the Victoria, after they circumnavigated the world. The other one, and the more specific and complete, was the account of Antonio Pigafetta, which is the Primo Viaggio Intorno al Mundo, which translates to the first voyage around the world. Antonio Pigafetta, like Albo, he was also a member of the Magellan's expedition and an eyewitness of the events, particularly the first Mass.
So in Albo's log on the 16th of March 1521, as they sailed in a westerly course from Landrons, they saw land towards the northwest, but owing to many shallow places, they did not approach it. They found later that its name was Yunagan. They went instead that same day southward to another small island named Suluan, and there they anchored. There they saw some canyons, but this fled at the Spaniards' approach. From that island they sailed westward toward a large island named Ceylani that was inhabited and known to have gold. Ceylani, or Pigapita called it Ceylon, was the island of Leyte. So as they sailed southward along the coast of that large island of Ceylani, they turned southwest to a small island called Mazaba. So when they arrived in that island, the people of Mazaba were very good people.
There the Spaniards planted across upon the mountain top on the front. They were shown 3 islands to the west and the southwest.
We're told that there was much gold. They show us how the gold was gathered, which came in small pieces like peas and lentils.
From Mazaba, they sailed northwards again towards Sinali. They followed the coast of Sinali in a northwesterly direction, where they saw 3 small islands or islets, where they anchored for the night, and in the morning they sailed southwest. There they entered a channel between 2 islands, one of which was called Matan, and the other is Subu. They sailed and anchored at the town of La Villa of Subu, where they stayed many days and obtained the provision and entered into a peace pact with the local king. The town of Subu was on an east-west direction, with the islands of Suluan and Mazaba. But between Mazaba and Subu there were many shallows that the boat could not go westward directly, that has to go as they did in a roundabout way. Take note that in Albo's account, the location of Mazaba first the location of the islands of Limasawa at the southern tip of Leyte, which is 9 degrees with a 52 northwards latitude. Although Albo did not mention of the first mast, but only the planting of the cross upon the mountaintop, from which could be seen the 3 islands to the west and the southwest, which also fits the southern end of Limasawa.
The next primary source is Pigafetta's account. Saturday of the 16th of March 1521, Magellan's expedition sighted a high land named Zamal, which was 300 leagues westwards of Landros, which is now the Marianians Island. On the following day, Sunday, March 17, they landed on another island, which was inhabited. There they set up 2 tents for the 6 of members of the crew, and a sow killed for them. Homono or Homonhon was the name of the island. On the same day, Magellan named the entire archipelago the Islands of Saint Lazarus. The reason was it because Sunday, and it was in that Lenten season. On Monday, March 18 in the afternoon, on the second day on that island, they saw a boat coming towards them with 9 men in it. An exchange of gifts was effected. Magellan asked for food supplies, and the men went away, promising to bring rice and other supplies in 4 days.
On the island of Homonon, there were 2 springs of water. Consequently, Magellan renamed the island and called it the Aquada Ladiboni Sinaili, or the watering place of the good omen. On Monday, March 25, in the afternoon, the expedition weighed anchor and left the Homonhon. Monday, March 25, in the afternoon, the expedition weighed anchor and left the one of Homonhon. This day was the feast day of the Incarnation, also called the Feast of the Annunciation, and therefore Our Lady's Day. On that day, as they were about to weigh anchor, an accident happened to Pigafetta. He fell into the sea but was rescued. After that they left Homonhon towards the west-southwest between 4 islands, namely Sinalo, Hiunanghan, Inusun, and Albarian. Sinalo is a misspelling in the Italian manuscript for what Pigafetta in his map called Ceylon, and Albo called it Silani. They left Homonon, sailing westward towards Leyte, then followed the Leyte coast southwards, passing between the islands of Hiboson on their port side, then turning westward to Mazawa. They remained 7 days on Mazawa Island.
Friday, March 29, Holy Friday. Magellan sent his slave interpreter ashore in a small boat to ask the king if he could provide the expedition with food supplies, and to say that they had come as friends and not as enemies. In reply, the king himself came in a boat with 6 or 8 men, and his time went up Magellan's ship, and the 2 men embraced. Another exchange of gifts was made. The native king and his companions returned ashore, bringing with them 2 members of Magellan's expedition as guests for the night. One of those 2 was Pigafetta. Saturday, Pigafetta and his companion had spent the previous evening feasting and drinking with the native king and his son. The following morning, Pigafetta and his companion took leave of their host and returned to the ships. Sunday, March 31. Early in the morning of Sunday, the last of March and Easter Sunday, Magellan sent the priest ashore with some men to prepare for the Mass. Later in the morning, Magellan landed with some 50 men and Mass was celebrated, after which a cross was venerated. Magellan and the Spaniards returned to the ships for the noonday meal. But in the afternoon, they returned ashore to plant the cross on the summit of the highest hill. In attendance both of the Mass and at the planting of the cross were King of Mazawa and the King of Butuan.
So Mazawa, or currently known as Limasawa, was the first ever Catholic Mass in the Philippines. On the side note, there were some issues on where the first Mass actually happened. There were 2 places, one of which was Butuan, and the other side is Limasawa. Both places were constantly claiming the title on where really did the first Mass took place. Butuan has long been believed as the site of the first Mass. In fact, this place has been the case of 3 centuries, culminating in the erection of the monument in 1872 near Agusan River, which commemorates the expedition, arrival and celebration of the first Mass on April 8, 1521. Although the evidence were not sufficient and not convincing that the first Catholic Mass was held in Butuan.
Digging deeper about the issue, the sources, which are the studies literature and gathered copies of Antonio Pigafetta's chronicles and other accounts abroad. They consulted experts in geology and cartography and submitted its reports for review by the most detailed and only surviving accounts of the first Mass in the Philippines. Per Pigafetta chronicler of the Magellan's expedition, the Easter Sunday Mass that expedition chaplain Father Pedro Vallidrama celebrated on March 31st, 1521, happened in a place he identified as Mazawa, and according to the proponents of the historic Mass is Limasawa, and identified Limasawa as the current name of Mazawa. And so, having this sufficient evidences, Limasawa being the place where the first Catholic Mass took place were affirmed. The victory was not only for Limasawa, but also for the entire Eastern Visayas.